Alright, I believe we are live. My mic is live, and, well, the stream is live. So, it is May 4th, as I think we can all know just by checking our calendars. And typically, Star Wars fans, know this is Star Wars Day, so usually Hasbro or Disney will announce something big. Really not too much stuff to cover, though, but we'll just do a little bit of coverage here. So, number one big thing is Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out, and we're under a month now. The clocks are ticking, and we are just counting down till that day. So that's a big one right there. And I'm gonna try. I definitely do want to see that opening weekend, and there's really not much else to cover there. So yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu, that's coming out. And in honor of that, oh, Star Wars Daddy, thank you for. It's gonna be awesome. Get your tickets. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Um, yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu is. Will it be great? So let's grab our Mandalorian action figure. Which one, new or new Beskar or old? So we got our new Mandalorian in his Beskar armor. So we'll move our speeder bike out of the way here. And then we've got our Mandalorian with his old Beskar. And then, of course, we've got the child. So there's that. And, of course, you can just kind of take that off there and stand him up in there. So there's your kind of Kenner style Mandalorian there. So we'll leave that up on screen, and let's see what else is in my show notes. We also do have Star Wars Mall, and is that wrapped up? I haven't checked my Disney Plus, but it's either wrapped up or this was the last week of it. But that is a great new show that has come out this year. We also do have Ahsoka season 2, so that's gonna be great. Star Wars in general just has a lot coming out this year. And then, of course, next year we've got the 50th anniversary. So, HasLab this year, sometime this year at least, they should be doing a big reveal for the 50th. Now, I don't know what it's going to be. However, for me to back Hasbro's HasLab, and they've probably all got it planned out, it's actually probably going to be. It will be shown at Star Wars Celebration, so here in a couple of months, actually less than a month, actually. But Star Wars Celebration, they're gonna showcase the HasLab. For me to back it, though, it needs to be either a Yavin base, so that's the base they were on in Andor and the original Star Wars, or it needs to be the it's got to be the Lars Homestead, or the other possibility I would like is a kind of Streets of Mos Eisley. Now I know the Return to Tatooine campaign is over, and they kind of sort of did that, but do you really want to count that? It was in a way kind of like the original. I guess kind of like the original one, where it was just kind of a backdrop. But I want to like they did the cantina, where it's kind of the two faces and then you got the doors. That would be kind of cool. I would like that. But I would love the Yavin base. That one would definitely be top for me. And I can tell you, the HasLab I do want most. And right when I was getting into Star Wars and I didn't really know about all this other fancy stuff, the sail barge dropped, and I wish I would have backed it, but I didn't. So that's my dream. That's my grail right there for Star Wars HasLabs. Vintage Kenner will always take the cake with that one. So let's switch scenes there. And so now I've got those kind of two bars gone. Let's see with our stream settings. Okay, I need one too. Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, but the HasLab sail barge. And it's not so much that it's rare, although it kind of is, but it's just back then crowdfunding was new to toys, and that was Hasbro's first big crowdfund, and of course they had to pick the best vehicle that Kenner never made. Although I could tell you a blockade runner would be really cool, which that would have to be a HasLab. HasLab is, yeah, and it's expensive and takes up a lot of space. Yeah, both of those are definitely true. Because although some of the stuff is not really overpriced, but Hasbro has been getting to price gouging a little more than they have in the past. And they're big. For example, I just do not have space. I mean, for a sail barge, I'm just surrounded by stuff. But it's cool stuff. And this is my back room, so I've got the bigger room out there. So, let's get into... Oh, where'd the catalog go? It is... There it is. Right back behind me. And we got Donnie in the chat. 3D sail barge is pretty rad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. If Hasbro had really been Hasbro, they would have just made a big front, but it's actually on the back of this catalog right there. Yeah, that every kid wanted that. And then Kenner gave us the little, I think it's in this catalog, although I could be wrong. I'll check the mini rigs section. This is the first Jedi catalog though, so I highly doubt it. Yeah, no, it's not. But every kid, when they saw that on their screen, there was just so much. I'm surprised Kenner never did a playset of that, because that was just the coolest thing ever. Like, even if they had just done like the levels. But then again, in 1983, 84, and even 85, Kenner was just kind of, by 84, they were done making big new stuff. Like, they recycled all the playsets in 84, like the two Jabba's dungeons. Those are just the droid factories done over again. And I think that was it. And then the only new playsets we got for Jedi were the Ewok Village and Jabba's Throne Room, which Jabba's Throne Room, I like to count it as a playset. But then again, it's also just a big action figure with accessories. So, whatever one, yeah, it's got play features, but so does the, I'm trying to think of a figure. So does C-3PO with removable limbs. There's more play value if you have other action figures with that one. Like Chewbacca. That figure was just, you have to have Chewbacca if you have C-3PO removable limbs. So, we are 10 minutes into the show. We have 3 viewers. And I'm thinking I'll close with the Fortnite, but will if time allows, because I've got so much I want to go over. And I will be doing the Galaxy's Edge video the following week, so not this week, but next week, because I will have time to do it this weekend. And that I have all the photos uploaded. Death Star playset is the best. Oh yeah. I've got the Death Star box, and then the playset is out in the other room. So not too convenient to get to, but if you walked into a Toys R Us and just saw that box, oh, you wanted that. There's no denying you didn't want it. The question was how you were going to get it, because I can't see the price tag. The Death Star retailed for $20, I want to say. 20, $30 back in the 80s, but that was just and that's hands down the best place that they ever did, because you've got 4 levels. You've got, in each level, there's no blank level. They all have play value. Mine, yeah. Yeah, no, I got mine for a steal over at Mad Max's Heroes and Hobbies, so go check out his store. But yeah, no, I got mine, and it was only missing the foam, the windows on the trash compactor, and the rope swing, and it had the box, so I got mine for a great deal. And we got somebody new in the chat. But yeah, so mine I got for the steal, and Star Wars Daddy says I had to rely on, yeah, no, but I have since acquired the windows on the trash compactor and the foam, so that's good. The last piece I need is the rope swing, which of course that's the hardest piece to get. And I did end up fixing the little kind of tab in the laser gun thing. And then what I figured out though was the laser gun, it's not the tab that makes it flop. It's actually, there's a mechanism in there. There's a tab, and then it's like a gear system. And so that wears down over time. So I just jammed one of those little erasers in there, and that fixed it. Mowing lawns, doing chores, that's how I forward all of it. And the good part I will say about buying your collection in person and creating relationships with other people is you tend to get items for cheaper, and you get better deals, and so that's one of the perks. And that, because I would not have a skiff right now if it wasn't for Mad Max over at Heroes and Hobbies, and that skiff was a whole summer's worth of mowing lawns, but I never regret it. It's one of my favorite pieces, and you just kind of gotta wait for the right opportunity to pull the trigger, and good things will happen. And you'll eventually amass such a collection that you'll be asking, this is how could I have afforded all of this eventually? And because I am a second generation Star Wars collector, I did inherit a lot of my collection from my dad. Well, at this point, not a lot, but it was the really big ticket item was the Millennium Falcon with the box. So that was the big ticket item in there. and it is 100% complete. The only part I had to get was the little smuggler's hatch, and that was the only part. And fortunately, it had the training ball. The door was not snapped, so that was great. So let's move on into the second section of the show, where, because we kind of did the Q&A, and we'll continue doing that, but let's next do the, and we're still sitting at 248. I would love to get to 250 tonight. I would love to. But 248, man, we're so close. And earlier this year, I set my sub goal at 300, and I said, yeah, I'm going really ambitious this year, because we were at like 175 at New Year's. And I said, all right, I'm going ambitious. I want 300. It's really shaping up like we're going to get there. If we get to 250 by June, we're definitely going to hit it. And June, we can just not go weeks and weeks without subs, which I hope doesn't happen, but it could. And, all this, but I've been really gaining, and I just had like 3 or 4 hit videos, just one after another, and that really helped. Oh yeah, Star Wars Daddy is really hoping that happens as well. So, let's kind of move on to, let's move on to some kind of more unique pieces, since this is Star Wars Day. So, we've got our Star Wars Millennium Falcon mug. Now, this is, I believe, a fan home exclusive, and you have to get the the extremely big Millennium Falcon model, which is sitting on my dresser back there. And that thing is extremely big, and of course, you just turn it around, there's Star Wars. And of course, it is the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. But a nice little piece in my collection. Nothing of much importance, but it's still cool. So, we'll put that back. And because let's just get this out right here. Let's take a look, and this is by far my favorite Star Wars book, and you'll see why. And I think everybody here is going to really enjoy this. And I have not shown this on my channel before, but this is my all-time favorite Star Wars book. Star Wars Complete Vehicles. And you can't buy, well, of course now with the internet, but you can't buy these anymore because the company did go out of business a couple years ago. But this is my all-time favorite Star Wars book, so gotta clear out a little bit more space for this. There we go. So, you guys just ask for a ship and we'll show it. So let's go to a classic ship. Now we're still in prequels here. We don't like I guess we do kind of like the prequels, but they're not as bad as the sequels. Like, we could be looking at these. The Imperial era, so this is the U-Wing. That's a cool one right there. I want to move over to, and this one, so there's a Tantive 4. This one, though, that's a good question, because this book is, 2019, so it's not going to have the Razor Crest in it or anything fancy like that. But what it is going to have that I want to show you guys. We'll let that charge up for a little bit, my Switch, so we can end with a Star Wars Fortnite episode live here on stream. Well, there's your Tantive 4. And then the Imperial class Star Destroyer. So that's that right there. Now the Imperial Star Destroyer. You would think this thing would just have quarters everywhere. But it's just it's just a front. I mean, you've got the laser guns, you got the bridge, and then the docking bays. But it's just mostly just a huge reactor. I mean, there's not much else to it than that on the inside, as you can very clearly see from this cutaway here. And then there's the hangar view. So that's cool. And then the Sandcrawler. Now I'll just kind of fart around with this book a little bit. So there's your Sandcrawler. That's cool. And you can see the big kind of front door, and then there's the side door. Now it's unclear where the droids actually did come out, because it just looks like the whole kind of side did open up, and then I theorized it was that for the longest time, but then they just come out, and then they're just on the side of the Sandcrawler, so that doesn't really make any sense. So I'm still curious as to if there's just another opening. And then we'll get Luke's land speeder. So it's just a couple of jet engines and some repulsor lifts. And then there's the valuable parts right there. And of course, everybody loves to see the Millennium Falcon. And in my not my Death Valley series, I still have not gotten around to. I've gotten a good, probably about half of those videos up, but not every one. Actually, this week I have enough time to put one of those together this week. And yeah, that's it. So you've got your kind of the lounge there, of course some of the corridors, and then the cockpit there. The thing that bothered me though at Galaxy's Edge was, of course it's not going to bother most people though, but it bothered me that the corridor leading to the cockpit, it was good. It just wasn't long enough for me, at least. Because you had the whole section there, and then this kind of section after the bend, that was just too short, because it just didn't exist. Maybe it doesn't. It's been a hot minute since and by that I mean 7 years now since I've been to the one in California, but in Florida at least, that it's just too short. Of course, they did a nice job, but if they could change one thing, that would be it. But they did a nice job nonetheless. Of course, we have more Millennium Falcon stuff. The TIE Fighter. And yeah, and then of course now at Galaxy's Edge they are revamping the half of Galaxy's Edge. So one half is going to be as they originally intended it to be, and then the other half is going to be original trilogy. So like Darth Vader, Leia, but so that right there it it would be nice, but again, if Disney does not get the characters right, and by that I mean Han, Luke, and Leia each have very distinct and specific personalities, and I believe that the characters are actually out walking around there now, but they have just got to get their personalities right. And of course, yeah, the likeness isn't going to be 1-to-1. Yes, I know that, but they in the movies they have this very distinct personality. And if you've watched Star Wars as much as I have, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. Now, there's the just hangar bay full of TIE fighters. And we'll flip the page. The Death Star, again, just a huge reactor. Not surprised by that one, because it is the size of a planet after all. There's the inner workings of it. And then Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. Take a look at it. Now, the X-Wing, man, it's just a cool ship, really. And that is one of the things that just the original Star Wars got right, is the ships just looked great, and it was just perfect. And of course, now they're iconic, and they're just a part of American culture now at this point, really. So let's keep moving on through the book. Y-Wing. Here's your AT-AT. So that'll be in Mandalorian and Grogu. The Snowspeeder. Right there. And I just kind of want to skip a couple there. Now the home one. It's a cool ship. And of course, there's got to be a little swamp for Admiral Akbar to go roam around in. I don't know why that's on there, but it is. And they never talked about that in the movie. And here's my kind of my favorite part of this book is the fact that the Imperial shuttle head, it can just shoot off like that. So there's my shuttle right there. And it's just so cool, the fact that the makers of this book. And then there we go, there's the sail barge. So this will be a good one to end on. So the sail barge, then we got the skiff there, but just seeing all the inner workings of the stuff is cool. So with that segment of the show is done. That's a wrap for that one. And we might come back to that later, but we've got other segments I want to cover, and we're gonna enter. Well, we got 3 viewers now, so 3 viewers. Hold on, we're gonna enter a break, and I'll be right back after the break. So stay tuned, because we've got more Star Wars amazingness coming up after this. Alright, we're back. So, the next part of the show that we are going to be embarking on, and it's not Fortnite quite yet, but we're going to get to that, and that'll be cool. So, well, we got to get this book out of the way first. So we'll just kind of slide that right back up there. And what we're going to do now is the one thing that I am trying to do is a Chewbacca restoration. And again, thank you for Mad Max for supplying me with this. So this was a freebie. Chewbacca with no accessories. The arms are just broken. So I've done research. I've kind of played with it a little bit and seen what I can do. And I'm close to a solution. But the solutions are close. They're not good. And by good, I mean the arms they stay on, they're kind of like a loose figure. And by that I mean, you can grab the figure by the legs and just kind of do the little motion and the arms will just fly around. That's what the solutions that I know of have gotten me. So, I'm working on perfecting that. Because after all, it's just got to be functionable. And by functionable, I mean the arms have got to stay up. So, I did it with the Rancor. However, the Chewbacca is similar, very similar, but not quite exactly the same. So I do have to take a different approach with it. So that'll be a good video coming up. And the Rivals video, the Star Wars Rivals of the Empire, if you have not seen that, go watch that after the show. But that did get us. That one is doing good. Now, the original one that I released a couple years ago, I think May 4th as well. So that one inspired me to do this. I said, hey, it's gotten enough time off the air. We're going to relaunch it. And the original one's still up. Because there's no real... The audio is not great on it, but the audio is better on this one. And the stories are completely different. But the audio is also... It could be better. On the original one, it was just not good. And then, of course, YouTube definitely didn't push that one because there was Star Wars music. So I'd have to find some third-party music for me to be able to put music in there because, of course, YouTube absolutely will not push copyrighted content. Although, what I could do is push I don't know if a disclaimer would do it, but I don't really like to add disclaimers. It's just not something I like to do in my videos. So, what are we at? 8:30. We'll do a couple more things before we get to Fortnite. And if Star Wars Daddy is still watching, which I believe he is, and I'll pull this down. This, and of course it falls right over, but this is it's a good looking piece right there. I mean, you can't argue with that. That is, oh yeah, he is here. So ages 4 and up. Star Wars Return of the Jedi Chewbacca bandolier strap. Action figures each sold separately. And the box is not in the greatest shape, but it's a box. And, well, there's that 80s kid wearing his belt and just rocking those Star Wars action figures. And then there's to wear over your shoulder, connect the strap. Comes with 2 pouches for accessories and secret messages. Action figures easily snap in. How the foam. So that's my second best one right there. So you can see it's kind of falling apart. Now wait till you see this one. And I've got like 10 of these because Mad Max didn't want them, and he said, "Yeah, just have all of them." And then this is the only bandolier strap I've ever purchased. So the proof of purchase has not been cut out yet. So this is the miracle about this one. And I have to be very careful with this. So we'll slide it out. You're not going to believe, and I'm not lying when I say this, you are not going to believe your eyes when you see this foam. It is it is in beautiful, just beautiful condition. So, there we go. Now this is a delicate piece right here. So, let's very gently just lay it down. Take a look at that. This is like finding gold with Kenner Star Wars. There's just not a single problem with it. And you can even touch it and it returns to its original shape. That's how well preserved this is. Now, when I saw this, it just left me speechless, because I thought that, it's in there, it's gonna be absolutely horrendous. The inside of the box is probably destroyed. So, and then of course it's a nice one. And then here are the 2 pouches that go with it. So there's no stress marks there. There's no stress marks on that one. Now I will grab another one just to compare it. So that's a different one. So see the little white line there? And then, there's no real scuffs, but there's that kind of white line. Now look at these. These are just beautiful. Now of course we gotta block the light off. But this one it's the mintest one I will ever have. And I thought that one was good. And then my buddy Mad Max just digs this up out of a tote. And he says, "I found one, it's in a box." So I don't know what disintegrates these. Is it the light? Is it the air? I don't know what does, but they are all just wrecked. And on eBay, you're not going to find one with foam. And I have a tote here with like 5 of them in it, and those are my worst ones. And then I have another kind of mediocre one back there behind me. And that's my second best one, but this one is my best one. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And of course, you could possibly dare and put a figure in it, but I do not want to even chance it with this foam. It's just meant to be. It really is. It's a survivor. It has survived. And hey, who knows? Maybe if I shove it in that box, put it at the back of my just kind of pile of totes here at my feet, just put put it at the back there, forget about it. Then, when I, buy a house and then I'm cleaning out my room and moving all my stuff to my house, I'll find it, 20, 30 years, well, 10, 20 years later and say, oh yeah, and all my other ones will just be just in shreds. All the foam is just gone. It's just disintegrated. And this one will be just perfect. It'll just be like that. Because I'll have forgotten about it. I won't have had a chance to just touch it. And it'll just be immaculate. Just like this, saved. But that is and, should I grade it? I don't know. So, here's the part that does scare me. And is putting it back in its box. Because I really want to be careful with it. And my goal as a collector is, as Gen X ages out and starts selling their collections, I will buy them up and just amass them and save and hopefully preserve, and hopefully the next generation, whether it be Gen Alpha or Gen Beta, grows some respect for this stuff and wants to collect it and enjoy it as I have. And I'll have it, and I would be more than willing to sell duplicates of stuff that I have to them at a much, well, of course the prices will go down and with time, and as there's less of a market, the demand will go down. But I would like future generations to see the stuff as it was. So that is all put away now. And of course, because I love this piece so much, I just love it. It's my number one favorite Star Wars piece. I'll set it up because we gotta, and then I'll put my white, I'll put my white TIE Fighter on it, because I have a pretty battered, and by that I mean it's got most of the pieces, but it just doesn't it's not in a state of disrepair. It's just a really rough Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. It's all melted or something, but my Vader's tie is pretty rough. So I'll set my Vader's tie backdrop up, which is the rarer piece. And let me get a bit of speeder bike there. So just kind of fill it now. And I'll grab some of my better looking troops to fill the space. So I'll put a stormtrooper there. And I've got more than enough stormtroopers to pick from, but it's not the army. Not quite my dream army. Oh yeah, it's my favorite piece. So his stand fell off. So I'll put him on a stand. And how many more should I grab? Grab a handful more troops. Get them all armed up and ready to just put on here. So, there's that one. And we'll grab another stormtrooper. I'm grabbing my cleaner troopers because I do have some that have been through the mud and dirt. I would say this one is my dirtiest. But it's just more history that has been added to the action figures. And then, of course, we can move them around once I get my TIE fighter over here. But we'll just set this up. But I can't have it up for too long or else. Because one time I had it up for like a week and then the side flaps were kind of warping a little bit, so I took it down and now they're fortunately flattened out. So that's good. But this is my all-time favorite Star Wars piece. Not because it's rare, just because it's a very cool looking piece. And then this stormtrooper, well, you look at him this way, he looks like a clean one. And then that side's just yellow. And of course there's, quote-unquote ways to de-yellow them and make them look nice, but in the short run it'll make them look nice, but in the long run, 5 years later it'll just make them look like garbage, and then the plastic will all be melting, and so that's why I don't de-yellow mine, even though it has proven to work. In the long run it won't. But that's okay, because dirty troopers like this, or even just yellowed stormtroopers like that, they can double as the Imperial Remnant if you're making a good old Mandalorian scene. So now, I think that's enough troops. And then I'll grab my TIE fighter, so I'll have to step away from the camera for 1 second so I can access it. Alright, we're back. So, what I'll have to do here is I'll just kind of move these stormtroopers out of the way, and especially that speeder bike. But there you go. So now it looks good. So we'll put our stormtroopers and just kind of reset them up there a little bit. And just have them kind of guard the TIE fighter, guard the battle station, And now, that just makes it look even more cool. And where'd I put it? If I can, oh, there it is. So if you want to see another rad piece, check this out. So you're saying, oh, that's just another picture of some sand people looking over a ridge. Well, you'd be correct about that, except it's an extremely rare piece, and this came in the action figure mail-away set with Red Snaggletooth, the Sand Person, and Boba Fett. So that's the 3-pack special offer right there. Now there were 4 different 3-packs. I did a video on them, and I explained the rest of that. So those are my backdrops, or my special offer backdrops. Of course, everybody's got the little blue Yoda Dagobah backpack, and that was also a special offer. So let's check out our latest subscribers. And so 3 months ago, the Stark Knight Returns. 3 months ago, Mr. Avenger, 1975. 3 months ago, Pac-Man Fan, 256. 2 months ago, Daz the Comic Key Chaser. 2 months ago, Adam. 1 month ago, Jibber Jabber Action Figure did subscribe. 1 month ago, I'm not even going to try to say that whole thing, but 26 has subscribed. 1 month ago, Anthony Lim did subscribe. 15 days ago, Space Case Collects did subscribe. And 9 days ago, the Trash Picture Show did subscribe. Now, if you want your name up on screen, like the Trash Picture Show does, you will also have to turn on your notifications. If you're out there watching and you want to subscribe, do that. And because people have subscribed, they just did not click the notification bell. So, what is it? 8:47. It's that time, and well, we're close enough. So, we're in the hangar bay. The troops are guarding us. So, let's see here. Let's see if we can't get some Fortnite going. So this should be all ready and set to go. I'm just setting it up, getting it ready. Okay, hold on. So, can you hear this? Is going to be the real question. So, because it is May 4th, and good luck on getting to 250. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, 250. That is I cannot tell you just how much I would love to get 250 today. Although there are still hours in the day, so if 2 people would just hit that subscribe button, that would be a Star Wars Day miracle. It really would. So, we're getting this all set up here. So let's kind of figure that out. I think you can, yeah, you can all see that just good. So, that's already up. So that's going right there. Well, should I claim it, or I guess I'll claim it then. But yeah, we'll see how this first one goes, and then we can go from there. But this is our closer. So this truly is our closer right here. Now there's our first Star Wars themed item of the game, the Emperor. Well, of course we're playing as Han Solo, so that will also be pretty nice. And yeah, and we are gaming from inside the hangar bay. And that is a beautiful Kenner Star Wars TIE Fighter. It is just beautiful. And I've got R2-47 right by my side, so maybe he'll be the closer. So after Fortnite, after we're done gaming, we'll bring R2-47 onto the show. So I don't see any Star Wars theme. But we'll just go to the blue marker, and we only got one person watching us. So very clearly, nobody really did want to come watch us play games. But that's all right. We'll do this, and then we will. What the? So, yeah, we'll bring our 247 onto the show. But we're just doing this to kind of get the show moving into the wrap-up direction. Alright, we got 2 people watching. So, it is May 4th. We do still have a Star Wars theme going here, so we have not completely abandoned that. I was really hoping though, cause last year Fortnite did have a huge kind of Star Warsy theme going here. Where am I? I gotta. So there we go. That should help us out a little bit. I have to view what I'm doing through 2 screens actually. So here, maybe this. Okay, I got a better view now than what I did have. There we go. That's nice. And we got somebody else here. Maybe if I show my full screen. No, you guys can't see it. Oh. Now it's blurry for you guys. Oh, there we go. That cleared it up. There we go. So yeah, that person. Well, maybe if I move my screen back, tilt that up a little bit, that might help out just a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely better. So we got one person watching. One person's enjoying the show. More action. There we go. Here's that, and then I think we're good on everything else. So as we're switching gears here, we're doing alright. What are we, top 26 now? So, let's see if we can't get a win here. Let's show everybody in this lobby that Your Old Toys has picked up on things from the Star Wars movies. So there's that. Now I got one more person. There we go. So we got those two. So, let's see what we got for options if we want to kind of switch out some of our gear. I think we're doing pretty good. Oh yeah, we most definitely are. So top 12, we're actually doing very good for live on stream, actually. I did not expect this to be going as well as it is right now. Wow, we're an hour and 5 minutes into this stream. And, well, we're getting pretty close. Top 10. So we really are getting through this game. I don't want to jump off the cliff. Really want to be mindful running around these halls. I mean, if they did bring back, although there are Star Wars maps, so we could, for a future stream though, I think one match will be good enough. 8 players remaining, including myself. So, there is most definitely somebody here. Oh, we gotta get out of here. A car would be nice. And we got footsteps. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. So we'll reclaim that. Swap that for that. What else we got? That. So we're doing very well, I would say. What are we? Top 6 now, including myself, so we are doing very good. We got one loyal viewer. Well, we might as well heal up right now. That'll help us a little bit. Can we hire him? No, we cannot. Oh, we're gonna be back to full health. So there we go. There's that. And we gotta make sure we move to the next location. And well, we might as well. We'll gather some XP. Still at 248. Alright. Well, there's another fight breaking out. So I'll just kind of run over to that one. Top 5. Can't even imagine that. Well, there we go. Place 5th. That's good. We got to level 32. 33. And 34. 35, 36. What didn't we do? 36. Alright. Well, that is your Fortnite for you. So, let's get that out of the way. So now, let's start heading in the closing direction. So there's one last look at your Vader's tie backdrop for you. Okay, so we'll gather up all of our troops and take this down. It don't gotta look nice, it just gotta look good. Take that down. And we'll put our battle damaged TIE fighter back on top of that. So, I do have R47's controls by my side. So, let's get this stream wrapping up. So, we'll power R47 on. Okay. Well, there's R47 for you. And he's going to be featured in a review soon. Oh, yes, you are R47. So, there he is for you. Oh, yeah, R47. You tell him. What's that? He wants everybody that is watching the stream right now. And everybody that has been watching the stream. Oh, what's that? He wants everybody to subscribe to the channel and like the live stream. Go watch Star Wars Rivals of the Empire, isn't that right? Yep. And I think that's it. I think R47. He's telling us it's time to wrap up. It's 9:08. So, we've been going a little longer. Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's all. We've literally done it all, from reviewing to looking at books to playing Fortnite. And yes, of course, reviewing you, R47. We did review you. Well, he says he wants his own video. Well, R47, you are gonna get your own video. Oh, yeah. So, who did we have here? Thank you to Donnie. Thank you to Star Wars Daddy. And, well, we'll just call you 666. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for chatting. And, oh yeah, R47, we're gonna wrap it up. So thank you all for being here. It's been May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. It should be a federal holiday, actually. Well, this isn't the real Star Wars Day, of course. We all know the real Star Wars Day is May 25th, because that is when the movie did actually come out. So, yeah, good night, Star Wars Daddy. So thank you all for being here. It's been a great show. We'll do it again. Maybe next week. We did do a show a week ago. But we've done it all. We've said it all. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like the live stream and subscribe to the channel so that we can reach our goal of 250 subscribers. It really has been a true honor. Thank you all, and good night.